Hello, Colorado. Hello, fellow patriots. Okay, so you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to have to give a speech and run a clicker. And as a man, we do not multitask very well. So, okay, we're going to go back a little bit. All right. So let me start off border security, or the illusion of border security. The pain and the problems that come with unrestricted illegal immigration are now for the first time, is being felt in America from one coast to the other. My name is Javier Joven, and I am the mayor of Odessa, Texas, and this is where the clicker comes in. Wait, let's go back a little bit, because I want to be able to show you where Odessa, Texas is. Well, it's in there somewhere. Well, just like Odessa, it is parts to be found. So let me give you a geographical site where Odessa, Texas resides. Odessa, Texas, it is 350 miles east of El Paso, and about the same distance from Fort Worth to the west, and to the south of Amarillo, and to the northwest of San Antonio. And also, it is the center and the epicenter of Texas when it comes to petrochemicals. Petrochemical, oil and gas, let me correct myself. And so, Odessa is a city of 150,000 people. And because of our location in West Texas, Odessa has long struggled with the effects of illegal immigration. I want you to be able to know this. When we look at the immigration crisis that is being played out across America, it is easy to get caught up in the numbers. And if you saw, I had numbers posted up here, and we'll get to them right here. We are going to get to them. There you go. And so when you look at these numbers that are going across America, it's easy to get caught up in these numbers. And when you look at these numbers, they're definitely overwhelming. However, as mayor, I have to continually remind myself that the real tragedies that we're dealing with here, the real problems, the real issues, physical, at their core are one, living, breathing people. As our government deals or attempts to deal with these issues, we must always stay focused on one thing, and those are the people. The men and women, boys and girls, but most importantly, the legal American citizens. Those who choose to come here illegally, if we ever hope to solve this current immigration mess. You see, I believe that everyone here in this room understands one thing, that the vast majority of people flooding across our borders are simply looking for what? A better life for themselves and hopefully for their families. I believe that we all understand that most people showing up in our local communities are fleeing some real terrible situations back in their home country. I believe that we all understand that people strive to come to America for a better life. Let me get a little personal. I can relate to my mother, Yolanda Joven de Gonzalez, who I lost almost 3 years ago. My mother entered the United States legally in 1953 as a resident. She chose to become a U.S. citizen in 1997 for one simple reason. She wanted the power of the vote. And the first time she voted as an American citizen in the United States was in a municipal election in 1997, May of 1997, the first Saturday, for her son, her youngest son, in his re-election bid to the city council at the age of 32. And now that man stands before you as a 58-year-old grandfather and a mayor of a Texas town of 150,000. I am my mother's American dream. But let me recognize one thing, that this free and uninterrupted flow of illegal entrants, what it's doing, it's tearing at the fabric of what makes America, America. Now, in the opening slides, as I struggled through it, we saw and we continue to see how these huge numbers of legal entrants are putting a strain on American communities. And it's doing it across the country. What it's doing is jeopardizing livelihoods and lives of law-abiding Americans. Illegal immigrants are not only costing Americans billions in taxes, but they're also jeopardizing American homes and American businesses, especially those mom-and-pop businesses. This open border and surge of migrants are also acting as a human pipeline that is flooding a tidal wave of crime, not only to Odessa, but is also bringing it to your doorstep in your community. And if it hasn't yet, it will. My great frustration there in Odessa is regularly ranked as one of the most dangerous cities in America. Based on our crime statistics, and more illegals flow into Odessa, so to have one thing that accompanies it, and that is drugs. In Odessa, we struggle with high rates of fentanyl. Cartel mules often use our area as a center of human trafficking that's infiltrated every aspect of our community, even our hospitals. And despite the best efforts of our local law enforcement, the simple reality is this, that our officers, our law enforcement in Odessa, Texas, and every other community are simply just overwhelmed by rapid increase in crime that we're not prepared to address. The cartels are criminals and are using a surge of illegals that are crossing these borders to mask and hide an incredible variety of criminal activity. And all of us, we as Americans, and even those crossing into our country illegally, we are all paying a very, very high price. So I ask you, turn to any newscast, get on your phone, scan any online news right now, seek out the source. And what you're going to find after one story after another of illegal immigrants being found stuffed in sealed trailers, forced into human trafficking. Why they do this? Because they have to repay the smugglers who let them across these open borders. You will find stories of violent criminals who have entered our country, and what they do is now they're preying upon American families. They steal, they rape, and kill our citizens. And to flee justice, they go back to supposedly these secured borders. The cost of illegals flowing into my city, city of Odessa, and your city, they're real, and they're devastating to the communities and to your citizens. So, here's the question. What do? We know what the problem is, but what are the solutions? Our country, and we've heard this over and over again, is founded by immigrants. America has time and time again opened our arms to take in the endless millions. And here I struggle again. Endless of millions of immigrants who strove and strive and struggle to arrive to American shores. Yes, it should be applauded. So let me offer a few suggestions. First, I mean, you've heard this. First, we must secure our borders. Not talk about it, not have an illusion of security, but real security. All of our borders must be secured from north to south to east and to west. We must secure our airports, secure the seaports. We must send a message around the world to those citizens that while America welcomes newcomers to our country, they must arrive into America legally. No exceptions. Second, This is critical. We must stop rewarding those who enter illegally. No free education, no free housing, no free health care, no free anything or everything. Just a few weeks ago, let me tell you a little story. Just a few weeks ago in Odessa, local refugee organization out of Abilene, Texas, which is about 2.5 hours east of Odessa, was handing out cash cards. Now think about this. Handing out cash cards worth $700 per month. Now, if that's given out to a family, that's some real money. But these immigrants, these entrants, are lightly documented immigrants, and they're primarily all from Cuba. Just in 3 days alone in Texas, and just in 3 days, they were expected to process over 2,500 people who had entered the United States illegally, but had turned themselves into ICE, a detention center, received also almost no vetting whatsoever, and had been placed on buses and planes to join families and family members in Odessa, Texas. Now, I showed you a demographic where Odessa, Texas is. I'm born and raised in Odessa, Texas. How do Cubans originate in Odessa, Texas? You see, these refugees also get a year of free taxpayer-funded health care. This is your money. This is our money. But finally, we must provide a real, true pathway to citizenship that can only be started upon legal entry into our country. Now, we must emphasize that newcomers must learn, 1, the American language. 2, they must study American history. And the most important, embrace American culture and stay out of trouble. And while on this path, they must discover the dignity that we all Americans know and embrace is honest work. Support themselves and support their families. And most important, pay their taxes. Together as Americans, as patriots, we can solve our immigration mess. But first, we must demand of our politicians, your representative, both local, state, and federal, to truly work together and bring forward common sense solutions. For the reason is to do one thing, protect Americans, and also while offering a hand up to those who truly need it. Fellow patriots, fellow Americans, fellow conservatives, thank you for this time, for allowing a humble kid out of West Texas, a son of immigrant parents who came to America, who is the embodiment of the American dream. There's been said that it takes 5 generations for assimilation. That's certainly not true. I am fully assimilated into my country. I speak both English and Spanish and a little Tex-Mex, and I got a Texas drawl. And you know what? I'm not apologetic for that. I love my state. I love my community. And by the grace of God, God made me a Texan. And if there's anything else I want to leave you with, I'll leave you with this. Stand a watch. Be vigilant in your community. Be outspoken. We are the final defense, because if we do not, we will be talking in the future about how once I lived in a country that was great. Stay faithful. God bless you. Thank you very much.